Warning, this podcast has some bad language, and it also has some pretty offensive humor. So if you're don't worry about it, and get out of here.
Unless you're in bumper cars.
Action.
Scene one!
The Renfro, as you sit down, renounces to everybody, "Please welcome our friend, senior official Itzya Mabai, and Ronk from the Forest, Eli Fal from Falator, yes, of course, Bastia Fairburn from Comedians United, and Faradir Sunbro, the missionary from Autumn Rise. They are honored guests of Itzya Mabai, and he is cut off by a dwarf, who says, yes, we get it, get on with it, go fetch us some more mutton, will you?" And so Renfro kind of snorts and leaves the room.
Cool.
And so all you do is see these people, two halflings bantering, one gnome sleeping, a general who seems to be eyeballing you silently, the half-giant and the dwarf.
So I guess
The dwarf seems to be stuffing his mouth, and the half-giant turns to you and he says,
Who? Turns
Ronk. Ronk
like
is
the
sitting
party.
next to him.
Yeah.
and
Are
he
we all
bows
sitting
his
together?
head and says, "It is a pleasure for you to be here. From whence cometh you?"
I'll show you pleasure.
Whoa.
Party
Most,
leader. Go.
okay. Most recently, Otisan. We're a traveling mercenary band.
Great thing to say at a big noble council.
Yep.
Oh, we're a bunch of mercenaries. Actually.
Mercenaries, are you from Flep?
Is
Yes.
that? Are we?
You could say so. We're working on the transition between the West Trekkers United.
Oh, I've worked with West Trekkers a lot of times. It's not a bad place.
Oh.
That's nice to hear. Do you have a band name yourself?
Ah, yes. We are the Scarlet Swords.
SS for short.
Ronk.
Yes.
I've got this. Thank you, though. Thank you. Don't fart at the table, Ronk. It's bad manners.
It's like, I don't know how well your friend Ronk is going to be received with the rest of the royal family.
He
I'll be
is
quiet.
eager to please, but
Now, I personally have no problems with him, but Hajara Imad can be very demanding at times.
I understand.
Hope you don't take offense.
Well,
I
It
don't
would be
get
best
offended.
that he remains silent at all times.
you got that, Ronk?
One question.
Hmm.
So this place is really fancy.
Ronk. Don't bring it up.
No, he can bring it up. He's a big kid.
No. Val, please.
There's a lot of poor people outside. Why don't you share with them? Sharing is caring.
I live in a hostel, Ron. I share as much as I can.
We also don't have your name. Could we get that, sir?
Oh, yes, I am called Oral the Slow.
Oh, this is Oral the Slow.
I know, it's not on his name. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you were Faradir, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
So you're a missionary. From whence cometh you?
Sorry, I do not speak the noble tongue. You're gonna have to go down to common for me.
What? Half-giant is Oral
From
the
where
Slow.
are you, Faradir?
Oh, I'm from
The half-giant
Autumn-Eyes.
is
I
Oral
was
the
raised by a religious order, as you could tell by.
Would you be so kind as to divulge to me this order?
Oh yeah, the Order of Sunborough.
You don't say.
Mm-hmm.
I have been trying all of my time here in Aranizda to get an embassy out towards Falator and the Elderwood towards the marshes, and no one will listen to me. Would you be willing to bring a letter back to Autumnrise the next time you are there?
I would love to help you out.
Do talk to me after the meeting.
Mm-hmm. Will do.
I like you. And I pat him on the back.
How much longer till the Sultan's here?
The
Right now.
Sultan comes at his own time, I'm sure you understand. And as soon as you say that, the general, who is the Dragonborn, says, "You'll not question the Sultan and you'll be patient, peasant."
I'm gonna give him
Oh!
an intimidation check just through a look, just like an angry fuck you look.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do the magic thing, so like, basically the room gets really scary around him, and he's just like, wait, what?
He goes blind.
Unnatural 20.
He seems unfazed.
Maybe if I do a seduce check. Something goes a little different.
Whoa.
No, use your force to just hurt. Tickling
Whoa.
his feet under the table.
The dwarf says, "Alright, now can somebody tell me why we got a couple of peasants sitting at the royal council table here? What the fuck do you think you guys can do here?"
Talk without a dirty slur.
Oh! Wait! Now, you tell me, you tell me right now that you've never had some Aphrodisian sunrise and you can't have a second cup?
A sucking cock?
What? No.
Can I stand up and attack him?
No.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Not until the Sultan's here.
Do you have any idea what the treasury has to manage around here? Do you have any idea what I have to work with?
Money.
I crack a grin and I say, I can appreciate man who appreciates a drink.
Well, it's all bloody well good for you. But what are we supposed to do about this
So, you're
common blood at the
you're the
table?
one handling the money in the city, right?
You could call me an economic advisor, you could.
Oh, so that explains a lot.
Hey, I bet it does. That's why we're not running into the ground, you asshole. The general stands up and slams the pommel of his
Force
sword.
push 2 squares just as an act of aggression, just to keep him in his place.
Whoa.
The dwarf or the guy who stood up?
The guy who stood up.
He brandishes his bastard sword and he says, "Now you listen here.
Do you do like some sort of thing, or are you just like?
Yeah, I willing. No.
Okay,
He moved
okay.
his chair when he went to sit down.
Oh wait,
so he
actually,
got
can I
down.
just do it? Yeah, I just do it with my mind. That way, it's just. That way, it seems like I didn't even put an effort in doing that.
Because he's
But
clearly.
I want them to know it's me.
Oh.
I'll just say you stand up. Are you cool with that?"
Yeah.
He's like, "There's never been blood spilled in the royal hall.
Ron cuts himself.
Now I have no problem with breaking that record today."
Let's go.
Wait, hang on. To be clear, we're on this big ring circular balcony thing, right? Just push him on.
Do a foot falling, so he just falls off.
You watch him. He seems to be seriously considering going toe to toe with you, but in the end, he goes a little more aloof, snarls at you, and says, "I wouldn't waste my blade on peasant blood."
Cheap shot him!
Force
punch him in the dick!
I shoot him a grin and just sit the fuck back down.
We have a fight.
The gnome seems to wake up. He says, "Is the meeting started yet?"
Nope.
Not yet.
Don't question the Sultan, am I right, guys?
The dwarf kind of raises his little glass to you. He's like, "Hey!" this-"
Fire hand to lift up the glass, get in the middle of it, and drop it. You've had enough.
You see the wine spill all over, and the room goes completely silent.
I'll break the silence. And I literally just say, I'll break the silence.
Nice.
You see
joke.
2 guards come in with a voluptuous tan-skinned woman wearing a circlet with long black silky hair. And she says, "Guards, would you please escort this rabble-rouser from the palace.
They take the dwarf out.
The two city guards approach you and say, "Up, peasant." I am your king.
I keep sitting.
Ronk is scared. Ronk is really concerned.
They grab you by the arms and they try to pick you up from their seats. From your seat, I should say.
I don't resist.
Alright, you are, you just dead weight and they have to drag you?
No, I work with them.
Alright.
It's civil disobedience.
Okay. You are escorted from the premises and you, after about 10 minutes passes, you will be outside. Remind me of this when you think 10 in-game minutes pass, please. It is now just you three and the rest. Is like, I see we have company. Renfro?
Why, yes, my lady. This is Ronk from the forest.
From the forest, that's all it is now. He's just from the forest.
That's what I told them.
This is Bastier Fairburn from Yisu, was it?
Caltera.
Caltera. And this is Faradir Sunbro, a missionary from Autumn Rise.
I just realized your name.
You just got it?
Yes.
Continue.
Such joy in
You'll
my
have to
heart.
explain to me later. Cause I don't
Yeah,
get it yet.
later.
Is it like a Dark Souls joke?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
the Sun Bros.
Yeah. Okay. That's not funny.
Yes, it is.
Damn it!
I don't know because I've never played Dark Souls. Shit.
But anyways,
So,
continue.
I'm being...
Good discussion.
He's like, yes, and on whose behalf are you here? Itsiar Mabai finally rises to kind of back you up and says, they are on my behalf, Queen Hajara. And you may be most, let's say, be secure in the fact that they have secured me in my position here with both the utmost haste and care, and they deserve nothing but respect and grace.
Yo! I shout that from like a hall down.
You don't hear it, though, so you'd be saying yo.
You cannot do your mind. You just
Huzzah!
go randomly.
The elegant woman says, I am sure, as long as they pick no fights with my right hand. Can we
Not literally wrong.
assume that we will have no more incidents, gentlemen?
Ronk shakes his head vigorously.
The problem maker's already been escorted out.
All of these voices are actually making me lightheaded. I'm gonna take 5 for a second. We don't have to pause, but
Yeah.
talk amongst yourselves for a good minute.
So I'll take the one on the left.
Huh?
So I'll take the one on the left.
Whoa, wait, the gnome?
Yeah.
Is that why you sat next to him?
In case things got bad, yeah, I thought it picked the
So-
easiest one.
You guys, the telepathic thing is two ways, so you can say it back to me if you
Yep.
want. If you want me to break free and come get him.
I kind of
Would
really
be
wanted
easy
to
enough.
start a rally outside.
I'm
really
going to
off
on
with
the
the head! Off with their heads!
So you notice that Itziar has been taking a good couple swigs of the rum that is at the table. She seems to be busying herself quite well. The two halflings have cut out their banter to pay attention. Vix seems to be smoking a very strange smelling substance from a pipe.
Marijuana!
The dwarf seems to have fallen asleep
Too hard.
at the table. And the general has placed his sword right at the table and has not stopped glaring at you.
I left.
Yeah, he was
All,
escorted out.
like the
Oh.
party.
Oh, okay. Then don't stare at me when you say that.
Sorry.
So this food.
So I'm sure there might be food involved.
Wrong.
I don't want to just start putting it in my pockets.
One plate. One
You could
plate.
have one treat wrong.
You have to say this stuff out
Listen.
loud. There's no one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You
It's
guys.
like one plate, so it just keeps refilling the plate.
He starts eating the plate.
So, Hajara Imad kind
It
of
keeps you quiet.
roars in the dome. All rise for Sultan Amir Gulzar.
Ronk up.
Well,
And I stand.
wait, I feel
stand,
like
so.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that Ronk will just stand up really fast and his legs will hit the table and kind of flip it.
Oh no, it's a massive like maple table. Like you would.
You've seen Ronk!
The force of Ronk standing up would definitely not budge this table.
What about my chair?
You knock it over.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, you knock over your table as you stand up.
My chair.
Oh, your
I'm paying
chair.
attention.
Yeah.
Come on.
Are you paying attention?
And in walks this absolutely obese, fat, massive man
He's on the list.
Is your name Jabba the Hutt?
with
Where's
an unruly, unkempt,
List.
large black beard,
Are you saying
And-
it to me?
a large green and blue turban. Enters,
Write it down.
and he stands alongside his throne. He kind of looks at all of you, and he looks back at the bugbear.
I won't get him.
His eyes grow larger. He sits down without breaking eye contact, and Renfro brings into him a full roasted pig. He begins to dig into the pig as he looks at you with childlike wonder.
Ronk doesn't do that.
I think he does.
Najara says, "The Sultan brings this meeting open."
I stay silent.
Does that mean we can sit down?
No, stand the entire meeting.
You may be seated.
He's like
I
crouched down.
Gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the Aranesian Empire that this war with the Sharesian Empire is failing. You notice that the general becomes disgruntled by the statement. She kind of just places her hand on his shoulder and he kind of calms himself. Now, we have attempted negotiations thanks to our international ambassador Oral. But the Sharesians will simply not see reason. They are absolutely adamant in their ownership of the island of Bashar, and we have reason to believe, thanks to General Arjan Mulato's information, that they intend to invade Catterby. This cannot simply happen. We must act accordingly, and I propose a brainstorming of how we intend to take the Sharesian Empire down. Our oil fields remain unkempt, with all of our labor force now fighting the war. We need to import slaves to be able to work these oil fields and get our resources back, as well as
Probably a
find
good idea I wasn't there. I'm just letting you know. I probably ought to
Yeah.
do you a favor.
Yeah.
new ways.
What?
Slaves kills everyone! Living missile. Douche, 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 douche.
As the kids.
ACR seems to be getting totally wasted. And one of the halflings says, "You know what we should do? I think we need to lower wages, and that way we get more money for the war effort." And the other one says, "No, you have no idea what you're talking about. What we need to do is raise taxes for political purposes, and that way we get more money for ourselves."
Has it been 10 minutes?
No.
It's your choice.
Thank you for doing that, but it has not been 10 minutes. Vix seems to have fallen asleep. Griff says that, actually, you know what we should do? What we should do is we should we should go back up into the Folks Peak because we had a mining operation going up there like a couple years ago. We could reopen that up and get all the minerals from up there, make some new weapons. We could arm everybody and fight the Sharesians on our own land. I was happy. We get more weapons, we get more money. It's all good.
Fuck bitches get money.
Not there.
No, why does everybody take my advice anymore? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. And then Hajara silences him with what seems to be a hand gesture, and he immediately shuts up.
Shut the fuck up.
You almost hear like the wind pass as this happens. Like a... Oral speaks up at this point.
Names are bad for me.
The negotiator guy, ambassador, and says, you don't understand. The negotiations haven't failed. We just haven't tried quite hard enough. If you would simply admit that the Bashar Island actually does, at one point, belong to Shariz, and we could have a cooperative ownership of the territory, we could actually work towards something. But you insist that Bashar is our territory when historically, and once again Hajara cuts him off with this instead of a hand gesture, she speaks up and says, you don't understand. The Sharizians are far too stubborn to give up such a thing, and Bashar is far too valuable to be in their possession. Bashar was one of the head economic hubs of the entire southern hemisphere. Now, until we had that little incident 3 years ago, everything was fine. We need to address this now.
Diplomacy check.
We'll say what you're going to say.
Yeah.
For the sake of everyone here who has been inebriating themselves, please remind us of the incident. 24.
So you're gonna say everyone who's drunk make themselves.
The general
sober up.
stands up and says, one of our finest ships was laid waste to by a bunch of drunken Sharesian locals that thought they could pick a fight with the Royal Aranesian Navy. One thing led to another, and we had a whole outright civil war in Bashar. You understand why we couldn't do anything less but declare war. Now, Lady Imad, I assure you, if we just provide more ships, if we can just go back to Odasan, Karak, and Shatran Jalib and get more warships produced, I swear to you, I can get a fine group of men to infiltrate the Sharesian Empire, and we can take them out from the inside. Hajara looks to her general and says, the Sultan has been considering this idea for a long time, and I think this is a good step. But we need to find the party that would be willing and ready and able to take on such a task, and we know for a fact that your privateers have a very hard time following orders. She looks to the three of you. Mostly to you two, because she doesn't like them.
I'm still eye contact with the Sultan. We're having a staring contest this entire time.
He blinks plenty.
But yeah, I'm just.
He's having he's playing his own staring contest.
Got it.
I'm just looking at his.
He seems to be he seems to be entertained by this. Every once in a while, he lets out a laugh, like
So,
and eats some more.
I'm no politician, but explain to me exactly what you want us to do.
You? Are you volunteering for something?
No, I'm just confused at why you're giving me the googly eyes.
Hey, meet me outside.
I was just
3
about
a.m.
to ask, do you
3
know of the Earl of Shariz?
One happened with
He's my father!
Do we?
I'm looking through my notes. see if I
You
put them
can
down.
do knowledge of nobility or whatever.
Oh snap! That's my good spot. 21.
There you go.
Bonk should do it.
That's my
You
dad!
know that the Earl of Cherise is Kinrod Macabre, a decorated war hero that took the throne long after his father died. And he is an old and weathered king that is absolutely ruthless in his war against crime, and he absolutely hates criminals. He is like basically brutal. Basically, you know that in the Cheresian Empire, if you so much as steal a sterling from a noble, you could get your hand cut off. He's absolutely relentless. But you also know that he is close friends with the Jarl of Falabor.
I say the old man masked his weakness with cruelties. I'm familiar.
Then I'm sure you are no less familiar with his military atrocities.
Unfortunately.
Just so you know, you only know of his brutality in war when he himself was in the military, but you know that he's a veteran and no longer in the war.
Mhm.
So you know his personal atrocities specifically.
And I can assume that he would probably condone such behaviors.
Do it.
Yeah.
And so he's like, and now we no longer have any diplomatic structure on which to stand. Do you understand the path I am taking with you three?
Can I insight check?
Well, should I sense motive because I've got high wisdom?
Ooh,
It's the
you
same
sense
thing.
motive. I do insight.
Insight and sense motive are the same
Yeah,
thing!
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
If you want to
sense,
assist him, you can.
sense your motive.
What did you roll?
Roll a 2.
11.
Well, you still assist, so that's good. You get a +2.
Which brings me to a 19.
Hajari Mad has you can tell, has a deep hatred for the Earl, and you might think, part of you thinks she's power hungry, but the other part of you thinks she has a long history with this man and might just have a real sharp hatred of him. In terms of what you're interpreting she wants you to do, she probably wants you to kill him.
Okay, so slightly outside of game, you trying to make sure I'm following this straight. He is the opposite side of this
Two
war,
sides of the
right?
Yes.
war. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
wanted to make
He
sure
is
I'm
the
following.
Earl of Cherise, and you're at war with... Well, Aranizda is at war with Cherise.
10 minutes?
After we got this, yes.
That we were brought here for the motive of hoping that we would do some dirty work. For lack of a better.
The general stands up and says, "The work is only dirty if you fail."
So there is work involved here.
Hajari Mad says, "I like the way you think."
No, I like the fact that I get your share! Woo!
What?
You said we weren't gonna get ulterior motive if we came here. You promised me your share if we didn't get ulterior motive. Oh!
I stand up. I stand
You don't
up.
get my money. You don't get dibs.
Take 2 steps over to my friend. Put my hand on his shoulder, and I shake his hand.
He has no money!
Of his share of the pay.
Threw it all out!
The share of his pay.
The
he
share of the
said.
pay.
Who says we're
The
doing it?
pay.
The pay. He promised.
You can do whatever you want.
What pay though?
Party.
As far as killing evil bastards go, as long as they're an actual evil bastard, I am fine with it.
You would be a friend of the Sultan, and you would be paid ever so handsomely. In fact, you would be made nobles of the Empire of Aranizda.
I squeeze your shoulder a little tighter. You are not getting my nobility.
Yes,
for
I am.
this.
I'm being a double
10 minutes
noble.
have passed. We cut to Risharath. Risharath, when you finally reach the edge of the palace, you know there's a mob outside.
Well, I was escorted by 2 guards, right?
Yes, they kind of just
Each
throw you
side?
out.
Well, no. While
I
while
found
I'm
the
walking
guy
with the
where
guards,
I was
I'm gonna do
kicked
things.
out.
Are they standardly dressed in that shitty way that all the other guards are dressed?
No, these guys were humans, and they are a little better equipped.
How much are you making this week?
They spit on you and walk back into the Sultan's
I have
house.
0 gold. You know what they're doing in there right now? They're planning on taxing you. Good luck with that. When I leave.
They look at you and they say, "We trust in our government," and they walk back in.
So,
Double nobility. I don't care. I'll help them.
No, it was just gonna fall asleep, so I didn't want it to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's fine if it falls asleep.
Yay, maintenance.
It's okay if Ron falls asleep.
Yeah, we're talking about Ron. So outside there's an angry mob, right? Oh god, my
Yes,
motivation
they-
has gone down
They
severely since
seem
I got
to
kicked out,
have
though.
torches and pitchforks, and they seem to be chanting things around like "Down with the Sultan," "Death to traitors," "No more war."
It's a peace rally. No more war.
So I'm gonna do
Wait, we're still telekinetically or whatever. Whatever.
telepathically.
You
We're
can
linked.
actually just barely make out the dome way up like several.
Yeah, well,
hundred
I've been
feet.
talking with Angus back and forth while I was walking.
We're gonna stop the war, big
By the way.
brother.
Okay.
Anyways. So I'm like right at the center of this, right? I just walked. right
You're
in front of
basically on the bridge behind the locked gates where two halfling guardsmen are like, "Oi!"
them. Wait, are they still there?
Yes, they're behind the gates and they're like trying to keep the gates from being plowed down by
That's on
peasants.
a bridge, right?
Yeah.
Oh God!
You're gonna throw them off the bridge?
But are they dressed shittily?
Yeah. Get over
Relatively.
this.
Please don't fuck up my double nobility. I really want double nobility here.
I don't know that you're getting any double nobility.
You just said telekinetic links.
telepathic.
Telepathic.
And you haven't said anything to me.
I literally just said that.
money.
As in, I'm literally like you. This was also done telepathically.
How's work, boys?
Oi! This is pretty tough. You think you could give us a hand? We need to bolster these gates here, and we could use some help.
Diplomacy check. So I'm gonna do a diplomacy check.
Shit on the common
Open
man.
the
Help them out.
gates.
Help the guards out. They're just the common man after all. Just the average Joe. Don't beat them up.
They're half of
unnatural 20.
Exactly.
There's one average say.
Yeah, between them.
So. Oh god, I ran out of motivation.
You guys should just like sit down, take a nap. Like I'm done with this.
God, I'm done with this
Bullshit.
You know what they're doing in there right now? They're planning on taxing you further. You think your armor's shitting out? Wait until you see what's coming next.
They wouldn't tax the guard, would they?
Are they gonna make a profit if they do it?
They look at each other and he's like, "Who's gonna fight in the war then? If they're taxing the soldiers..."
I'll tell you who won't be fighting in the war. Them.
They kind of like, right.
You're our new king!
Establish me as your king.
Oi! This is bloody stupid. They throw their gear off the bridge.
And then they jump. Not more you guys! Out!
Down with us.
And they say, "But that crowd's still pretty scary. You know, we might quit, but we don't want to get trampled."
I'm going to do my daily telekinetic lift thing. I'm like, alright, you have to have a little bit of trust in me. I know
You're
it might
gonna
be
throw
strange.
them into the
No.
crowd and let them be torn apart.
No. I'm going to levitate.
The bridge.
Yeah, the bridge. No, I'm gonna levitate one halfling up. He has to be willing though.
He seems really scared but willing.
Are you willing?
He's like, "Oi, mate, what you doing? What you doing? Oi, what you doing? What's going on here? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. That's an awful long drop, buddy. Please don't do what I think you're gonna do."
Telepathically, I'm also gonna broadcast out into this entire angry mob. It's gonna be like,
I have a hostage!
That's gonna take a lot of a roll, just so you know,
yeah, I know.
Rumpus
because there's a lot of minds.
Wrong assist.
Ah! You just start screaming your words.
Never mind. I'm not. Never mind. Over back
You
down.
could just yell into the crowd.
It's like, "Oi, what was that for?"
Ha! Go hide inside. I don't want to levitate you, but just hide inside, okay?
Okay, you got it, mate. Just
Mine.
don't open the gate, okay?
Yeah. I'm going to
Pushes
levitate
open the gate.
myself up so I'm above the crowd.
Okay.
And then God!
They seem to be like oohing and eyeing. And they
Now-
fall silent,
They fall silent.
listening to you.
You start paying on them.
Bitches! Usually if you do a motivational speech, it's intimidate.
You can choose for it to be intimidate.
Well, it's an angry speech.
Wait, can you use your encounter?
Get in there!
Use your encounter and make it diplomacy.
The first one's
it
basically
doesn't.
you getting
It only
their
works with
attention. Well,
intimidate.
not their attention, but you convincing them to listen to you is the first check.
Select me to
So this one you don't even have to say anything.
Well, I think I did it. 33.
They have you have their attention.
Now,
Now you get to roll to say what you want to say.
well, that's better, but still it's something. 19 intimidate. I wish we did this like 10 minutes ago when I felt motivated and like I wanted to fuck everything up. Now I'm just like, "Meh." Okay.
Because you know I'm getting double nobility. You can't go against the double nobility.
I keep my title. You get the land and the pay.
I get my double nobility.
You get the land and the pay.
You can call me Double Lord.
Exactly. You'll listen to me next time because now I'm a
Star
double
Lord.
lord.
Anyway, yes, Rishra?
I'm gonna shout out as a question. What does it feel like to be a person?
Weird.
Well, it's bloody inconvenient when I got a shit!
What?
Everyone cheers.
Yay, shitting! Let's all shit on the balance!
Does it feel like being an animal? Does it feel like not even being a person?
Kill
They all
yourself.
cheer.
Mass suicide in the crowd.
Right now,
Go to heaven.
they're figuring out how to stop this war. You know how they intend on stopping this war?
What?
Taxing you!
Boo!
This is gonna blast the sound.
Oh, I know. Just, oh, God! Look at this outburst. It was just all purple.
We should put a headphones warning in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flashing light.
Telekinetic crawl on the gate. I'm gonna attack the gate, and it's a pull, so it'll be pulling the gate open.
Towards them.
Just metal shards flying through the crowd.
You do have to make like an attack of the gate because it is locked.
Yeah. Might be against reflex though, so that'll be awkward.
Liquidates
The
not
gate
good.
dodges. Oh, no.
Yep, it's against reflex.
You roll it at one. You throw the crowd off on.
Just off the chasm.
Oh shit, I haven't even been adding all my stuff up. Nat 20!
Confirmed. Confirmed.
The gate
the
literally
table.
bursts off its hinges into the the canyon.
You destroy the bridge.
Today's the day to become a human!
Well, that's racist. It's not human.
But I'm a halfling! A person!
What about all the non-person Jews? I'm just yanking your dick.
I'm just a rock!
This is gonna go so south.
They
Not breath.
proceed to storm the bridge up to the royal gate, which seems a lot more barricaded, but they are like basically pummeling it and what's the word? They have a battering ram basically. and they're
That's all
trying
I
to
wanted
break
to
it
do.
down.
I'm gonna let myself down. I just wanted to start something.
And now you're gonna walk away.
I'm just gonna sit and
Well, the
watch.
mom's gonna come in while you're dancing like, Double Lord, Double Lord, Double
Not
Lord!
that, so I'm one of them
So
for
at this
now.
point, Hajara starts to hear chanting, and she says, "Oh dear, another mob. Great. Well, guards, do ensure that the castle gates are barricaded and that we have plenty of stock and food and whatever. Just go." And so a group of guards rush out of the room, and they disappear.
Forever.
He says,
Get killed by the
and,
mob.
and the general stands up and says, standing beside Hajara, "You're looking for some good pay and a good honorable task.
Wait, I thought this was the
You'll
guy
join me
to avoid.
in a private mission to assassinate the Earl.
Didn't the religious
You
lady
shouldn't
tell you
give
to
Connor
avoid
the.
this
You shouldn't
guy?
make Connor the person to accept quests because he will accept every single quest.
I will accept every single quest. I will never not accept a
Diplomacy. We do have.
quest. This will end the war, though, so that's why I'm cool with it so far. My story
That is true.
Risharath,
My
you
God, once we end the
get
war.
75 experience.
Hey,
for
one death's a
starting
lot
shit.
worse than a full frontal war.
That's very true.
And we don't necessarily have to kill him, just convince people we killed him. 'Cause
Very true.
Don't rape him, I just meant like hide him.
Break his legs!
Yes.
I'll tear his legs off. He'll die of his own lack of medical knowledge.
I didn't kill him. His own lack of medical knowledge on how to fix his own legs killed him. What an idiot!
That is wrong logic.
Just fix your legs, stupid. Come on, before you bleed out. Anyways, continue.
Oh dear.
Oral looks to he's and he's
And Oral
basically
is one of the ones we were supposed to agree with, not disagree with.
and he
So-
makes like this very hasty, alarmed expression of no.
Let's listen.
Oh, never mind. Oral's actually listening.
We're supposed to listen to Oral.
What do the rest of the people at the table? Who are they leaning towards?
Germ, one of the halflings, is like, oh, I'm cool with that. We could like raid his fucking palace and shit. And we could like get all this gold and we could like spend it on stuff.
And we can poop on his bed!
No offense, what's this we stuff? Are all these nobles coming? Are you all coming with us?
Noble party!
Oh no. I mean like we'll send a search party or something whenever you're done.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
Like and we'll scavenge and
Find your
shit.
bodies.
Their bodies.
Vix appears to have fallen back asleep.
Great.
Bitch.
Let's see who else is there. Griff, the dwarven guy who's been drinking a lot, says,
Oh, yep.
I haven't liked fucking the Dragonborns anyway. Sorry, General. Just saying. Well, I don't like your kind. It's cool. I mean, you're cool, man. But like,
You're cool, but I don't like your race as a whole.
like
You're one of the good ones.
You get what I mean. And the General seems really pissed at this. He's like,
Yeah.
Racist dwarf!
So are you allowing me to tally-link with everyone right now?
No, it doesn't work between you. It's only between.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are you allowing me to communicate to you right now? Is what I'm saying. Or are you like in your own?
I'll hear you. I don't know if I'll respond to you.
Okay, I'm going to.
Why is there shouting outside?
I don't know if it works like that because if Faradir is just thinking aloud, trying to talk to a like, hey,
Yeah.
okay.
Risharath, are you there?
Fair
And then if you're not like paying attention, trying to actively
Yeah.
seek him out, you wouldn't be able to hear him.
Fair enough. Okay, never mind then.
I am actively seeking out Mastier and talking with him though.
Then I'm just gonna say out loud because there's no other easy to communicate with these guys. There seems to be no other option as far as I can see. If there was a better option on the table, looking at Oral to present a better option, then maybe we'd consider it.
Well, my suggestion, Hajara immediately says, nobody wants any more of your suggestions, Oral.
Ronk wants his suggestion.
He wants it all over his body.
Everyone seems to fall silent as the bugbear speaks his first words since the meeting started.
And the Sultan probably wants to hear it as well.
The Sultan starts clapping his hands.
Can I add some light also? by
Tell
the way?
the Sultan your plan.
Oral says, I suggest we take this new privateer party and we attempt one last negotiating stance with the Earl. If it doesn't work,
We assassinated him there. And I'm not even there and I'm thinking this. And I'm against it and I'm thinking this.
if that doesn't work, we can abandon negotiations and we can send word for approval for a new mission. Perhaps not killing the man, but some new espionage, I suppose, would be acceptable
Naming him.
if he does not agree to our new terms.
I look at Arjan and I say, the work is only dirty if we mess up.
The general seems disgruntled but does not argue with you. He looks to Hajara, and Hajara says, We look weak enough. Do you honestly think a second negotiating round, or honestly, it's probably the 5th at this point, would work? And what new terms do you exactly intend to appropriate with this Earl?
Well, my plan. Now, I'm not an expert on the geography of the local area, so I can't negotiate well, which we'll have to do research for beforehand.
Here you go.
My plan is to impress him with a few backflips, and hopefully that will go well. Then I'll leave it up to our fearless leader to do the rest of the negotiations. That's my plan. He's very good at negotiating and sucking up, if you haven't noticed. He'd make a very good negotiator.
Well, you've told me how you'll get him interested, but what are the new terms?
I'm gonna look to Oral and be like, we are foreigners here, we're not exactly up as who can offer what.
It doesn't matter what the terms are as long as the war ends.
Itziar, who has gone through her, probably a full half bottle of rum at this point.
She takes a grog.
No.
No.
Frank's tired.
Rogues. Anyways, continue.
She
Sorry.
says,
You're funny.
now you know what I suggest? I say, you know what, we'll call his whole war off if you just forget about the island and we get all profits from it. And she falls back in her chair onto the floor and she appears to go unconscious.
Brilliant.
Oral
Can I
says,
do
maybe
something
not
else?"
quite like that, but I say we don't necessarily say they can keep the island, but acknowledge that they historically own the island, and that maybe we could work out a cooperative agreement. The general immediately slams down his fist onto that and said, we tried that before and they're too stubborn to recognize that we want it, and that we can have it, and that it belongs to us!
But you guys didn't try sick backflips to impress him. That's why you think that you're stubborn.
Hajar, apparently we invited the court jester of this privateering group. Hajar says, shall we? No, General, I think we can go with only one escort out of the meeting today. Let us just hold our tongues.
It just consumes me. I'm waiting for someone with good diplomacy to come up with an idea. Hint.
You don't know this is anything.
Wrong.
So how about, one good round of skill checks to seal any deal.
No, wrong.
I hope you know when it comes to me, I'm doing a sick backflip. Is my part of this. To show how sick the backflip actually is.
Would you like to?
No, I would.
I would allow that as
Rob wants to
perform
do an
acrobatics.
check.
Acrobatics.
Check. A perform acrobatics check or
Rob
something.
wants to intimidate because he actually has a plan.
And Bastier will have a check of his own that he can determine.
24 to do a sick backflip to show how good my sick backflips are.
You do a
It's
pretty
alright.
sick backflip.
Backflip's so sick, everyone pukes.
The Sultan finally breaks his stare with Ronk and looks at you and goes, woo! The dwarf, drunken, says, oi, you think you can teach me how to do that?
Throw him off the balcony. How to do sick backflip? Behind Connor!
Alright,
Okay.
what intimidate did you want to do wrong?
He's even trying to do a backflip.
Just falling.
When the wolves raised me, they taught me that the leaders of the pack have to look out for the younger ones of the pack. You are the leaders of the pack. And there is a mob of angry people outside who want this war to end. A pack is only strong if everybody is in agreement with the leaders, and they are not in agreement here. You need to respect everyone in your kingdom and make sure that they are happy and this war ends, and you need to respect them. Respect. Respect. And then I make it the
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Sultan looks confused. But you go ahead and roll.
Clearly, his relationship with the wife has no respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bang him.
What? You were wrong.
Oh God.
He's wrong.
13.
They burst into laughter. It was like, oh my god, it's still talking!
I'm gonna say telepathically to Rock at some point. I'm gonna say a bunch of things like, do what you think is right, come join me. Basically stuff like that.
Kill them all now.
And
Not by myself, but I want to let the mob in.
Pasteur,
Can I
basically,
do,
since that was a failure and that was a success, you're the tiebreaker.
can I do a nobility to tie this into a historical event to convince them otherwise? To
You
do
can
the
knowledge
diplomatic.
history first.
Okay.
I read in a book once.
This will give you like a +3 to your diplomacy check.
7.
You start talking about the Krogi thing that you learned in Warped Minds, and they admit they know that has nothing to do with what's going on right now. So you actually take a -1 to your diplomacy check.
All right.
Ronk says he has to pee and just leaves.
Goes to the
But he
nearest
goes to
potted
the
plant.
gates.
Like his story bored him so much, like I have to pee now, and just walks out.
Ha! 25.
You didn't say what you were gonna say first, so I can't take that roll.
Bitch.
Okay. You said I tied this into Krogi.
Me throw what's on your pack.
But you basically found out that was going nowhere, so
Yeah.
you're starting from scratch again.
Okay.
So say what you're gonna say. I'm basically taking the entire party's
Combined.
basically fate into your hands by making the decision.
What? You backflipped, right? Yep. And that worked?
Yep.
That was better than wrong.
And Ronk's like, respect everybody, and that didn't work.
Right.
Confusing broken English.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with the Krogi thing.
You summoned the crow from before.
No! Krogi is immortalized in
To the
legend
gates.
as a city who disappeared because they did not make a name for themselves. They failed to write themselves down because they did not work for their own citizens and because they did not emphasize on their skills. We need this one last rally to try and save your culture. Ha!
No. I'm trying to set you off even further. So
I'm waiting for stuff to
This is the point where I wish my one ability could have been used to also reroll things more than just attack rolls. 'Cause
GC, that really would have been nice because
open up the gates.
Hey, you can't.
Remember that rule I told you at the beginning of the session?
using action points.
Action points can count as skill rerolls.
You're gonna balls in that one.
doing that action point thing right now.
Nat 20 confirmed. No, it's not.
You asshole.
18.
They do not appear impressed by your speech, but the Hajar Imav nods.
Could we propose then a compromise? What if we just combine both of your plans? Where we start with negotiations, and when they probably go south because this guy's an asshole, we just throw him off a cliff. Because then we're in the negotiating rooms anyway, so we might as well, if it goes south,
Connor
just,
teaches you how to diplomatize.
if it goes wrong, just bring a big stick, the one to beat him with.
Oral immediately stands up and says, I support this idea. The dwarf is surprised by that. He's like, throw people off a cliff? Yeah, that sounds good.
Murder!
Vix is waken up. Was woken up by the loud
She doesn't
noises.
even know what we're talking about.
It said, "Oh yes, let's do that." And the two halflings that are bantering amongst each other says, do you think we'll get money out of this?
Yes.
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 Then we're in support of it. The general says, I only approve if I get to lead this mission. And Hajar Imad says, yes, I believe that could work. And Hajar says, so, are you willing to swear your undying oath to the Empire of Erenizda?
Do you have a boat for us?
We just steal the boat and don't even take his boat.
Erenizda is one of the wealthiest empires in the entire realm. I'm sure we could get you a little paddle boat on the way to Shuri's. She says that she is clearly joking and
Well,
stuff.
as much as I'd love to agree, I'm not actually the leader. This is up to you. You're the one that signs my paycheck.
He also get his
In
share.
fact, I am willing to give you 100 drakes just for your starting supplies to get to Odasan and be
How
prepared.
much are drakes? I don't remember.
That's 1,000 gold.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
You get
decide.
that. We'll give that to you up front. And when you come back with either the king's head or the king's signed resignation or surrender, we will guarantee you lands, titles, and
Wake-up call to them.
far more where that came from.
I take a look at the drunken lady on the floor next to me.
I'm like, I wonder what I can do with this situation.
You can put her in bed and say goodnight because that's not funny.
Yes.
Awkward silence for 5
I was
minutes.
thinking about stealing everything off her, but
The scarlet
I could use her shoes.
Shut up. What are you saying?
the scarlet swords are ready to swear.
Yes.
All right. And then we go to Risharath and Ronk
Ronk.
We're
because Risharath's on one side of the gate, Ronk's on the other. And you notice that it's being Ronk. You are on the barricaded side. Noticing that there's like 10 guards.
we need to
What's
take
the gate look
stop
like?
and then next episode.
You see 10 guards. What happens next? We don't know.
No one does.
Everyone dies.